Ісусу Христу!
Слава навіки!
Слава Ісусу Христу! Раді бачити всіх, хто доєднується. Отож, вітаю всіх. Good afternoon and welcome to the 18th annual fundraiser for the Ukrainian Catholic University for the New York metropolitan area and the second virtual fundraiser for not just the New York area, but the entire East Coast of the United States. And we thought we'd be alive this year, but surprise, surprise, here we are again online. However, thanks to technologies, I am in Lviv right now, broadcasting directly from UCU. So big welcome to all of you from the Sheptytsky Center. And my name is Dmytro Sherenhovsky, and I am Vice Rector for Academic and International Affairs at the Ukrainian Catholic University. And it seems like my side job is also being Master of Ceremonies at university graduations and other events. And today I'm going international, and I am very excited to be with you and to meet you, our good friends from New York and the entire East Coast of the United States. Joining me today as a co-MC from the United States in New Jersey is Inya Shehadeh, who is well known to many of you from the New York area. Ina has previously worked for nonprofits, including here in Ukraine, and this year she joined the Ukrainian Catholic Educational Foundation, or it is known the Ukrainian Catholic University Foundation now, as the Chief Growth Officer. So, Ina, are you here?
I am here, and yes, I am. And I am very happy to be with you here today, Dmytro. Ladies and gentlemen, Dmytro is the kind of leader at UCU who is young and smart and dynamic and full of energy and fluent in English. And we're very happy to welcome you, our wonderful donors and friends of UCU, both longtime friends, of whom I see many here, and many new friends. And a quick mention that we have individuals not only here from the Northeast that I see on our call, but from all parts of the United States. And I'd just like to point out several that I see. Mr. Paul Hauran from Fort Lauderdale, Florida has joined us, Mr. Adrian Saluk in Phoenix, Arizona, and the Platos, Machukenes, and Bonacorsa families in Portland, Oregon. So welcome all of you. As Dmytro said, I joined the foundation this year, having myself been inspired by UCU, and I hope to see many old friends in person soon and meet many new ones. And now let's enjoy our time together here and spend some time with each other and with UCU.
Oh, thank you so much, Ina. That was so lovely. And it's been great getting to you now. And welcome to all our team. I'm also thrilled to see many friends of UCU here in the Zoom. So thank you for your support over the years. UCU could not have grown into such an amazing institution that it is today without your support. So you will see some of the fruits of that support today, but we still have much work to do to educate leaders for a new generation and for a new Ukraine. We have good plans, we have nice aspirations, and we need your support to get there. And we have a great program for you today with a window into UCU, some wonderful guests, some current students, also other alumni, we have musician entertainment, and later Archbishop Boris will also join us. So if you are ready, I am ready, so let's get started by going straight to the top, to my boss, Father Bogdan Prach. Father Prach was just re-elected as rector of the Ukrainian Catholic University for another term, which makes us very, very happy for that. And he will begin our event and lead us in a prayer. So, Отче Богдане, будь ласка, розпочинайте з молитви, доєднуйтесь до нас.
Слава Ісусу Христу! Дякую! I want to welcome all of you, our dear friends. I see many faces that bring back great memories of being together with you. I hope to visit you, see and speak to each of you in person, but in the meantime, I want to thank each of you for your friendship and support. We feel your support and it helps us achieve great things that are slowly transforming this country and society into what we all want it to be. I greet you from Lviv, and as always, invite you for some good Lviv coffee with me in my office. For now, let us start your day with a prayer. Let us all pray the Heavenly King, Царю Небесний, led by our student choir, whose name is Stritinya. Please.
Those were some beautiful voices of members of the UCU choir. We will hear them again at the end of our program.
So, as many of you probably know, UCU has done a phenomenal job of adapting to the challenges posed by the COVID pandemic the last 2 years, both physically and financially. However, we do need to join together to give a hand to us in whatever amount we can offer this year. So even though it is virtual, this event is still a fundraising event. And to the end, you will periodically see our thermometer showing how much of our goal we should raise. So, Inyo, how much we should raise for this event?
So this year, our goal is to raise $225,000, and we will see how far we get during this time together. I also just want to give you a little bit of detail about how you can make your donation. So you can send your donation with your check to the UCEF address in Chicago. As Dmitro said, UCEF recently announced its name change to the Ukrainian Catholic University Foundation to better align with the mission of UCU. But you can still make your checks payable to UCEF. You can also donate by going to the chat function for this Zoom call, clicking on the link that has been provided, which will take you to the UCEF website to make a donation. And in the chat function, there's also a telephone number to call UCEF and make a donation over the phone. We have wonderful volunteers standing by waiting for your call, and I'm sure they would love to speak with you. And if you would like to make a pledge, there is a separate link in the chat function to pull up a Google form and fill it out to make a pledge. And remember to hit submit. I know I have at times forgotten to do that last part. Also today, we're going to have our popular auction, which is once again virtual. And we have 9 beautiful pieces for auction this year. 2 beautiful icons painted by UCU's Radrush School of Icon Painting, and 7 beautiful necklaces by favorite and well-known Lviv designer Slava Saluk. The first item is an icon of Christ the Pantocrator by UCU's Radrush School of Icon Painting. The second is another icon of the Mother of God, also painted by UCU's Radrush School. Both are painted with egg tempura and gesso on linden boards with gold leaf gilding. And next we have 7 gorgeous necklaces by Slava Saluk. And the beauty of this is that they're both traditional and also contemporary, so you can wear them with almost anything. And they're made out of very interesting and unique materials. The first is a necklace made of Christocolla stone, which is a blue-green crystal with a high copper content and with silver medallions and beads with enamels. The next is a necklace of jade beads, old Venetian trade beads, and silver crosses. The third next is a beautiful necklace of Venetian beads and Coptic brass crosses and vermeil. Next is a necklace with hutsol, silver crosses, jasper, and silver beads. Next is a necklace of Christopes, a green gemstone with jade beads, Venetian beads, and silver crosses. Then we have a necklace of green jasper, which is a gemstone, lace beads, and a ducat or pendant with an image of the Empress Maria Theresa of Austria-Hungary. And finally, we have a beautiful necklace with Venetian beads and old silver Coptic crosses and silver beads from the Caucasus region. Each of these items has a listed minimum bid, and bidding will begin in increments of $50. As mentioned in our recent e-blasts, bidding actually began 10 days ago on Facebook and will continue through the event through the chat function. So if you want to take a closer look at some of the items, go to the chat and there will be a link to a Google Drive document where you can view the photos of these items. The current bid amount will be listed for each of these items in the chat window, and you can place your bid by providing your name, the item number, and your bid amount in the chat window. From time to time, the most recent bids will be provided in the chat window, so please check back periodically to see what others are bidding. Remember that bidding is open over the chat until we give the 10-minute warning later in the program. So get ready and get bidding, and have your credit cards ready for the auction and for your donations, which UCU needs and which we really and truly appreciate.
Oh, thank you, Ina. And also, we know that there are a lot of computers who are registered for this event, but we would actually love to know how many of you are there with us today. So let me ask you do what I'm usually doing with my students during this time. I ask you for the next few minutes to send us messages to the chat room telling us how many people there are by computer screen altogether viewing this program. And feel free to send whatever, just a greeting or a smile, or you just say hello. You also can send what you are drinking right now. So I'm drinking some coffee that looked like a beer or something like that. So please do not hesitate. We would love to see how many of you are with us. And we would love to know our total human attendance beyond our total computer attendance. And while are you doing that, hey, Romane, what's about our thermometer? And you know probably that Roman Vaskiv, who many of you know, is in charge of our thermometer today, but we all are in charge of helping it to move. So it looks like our donations are growing, and that is pretty good start for us today. So how many money do we have right now? We can see it, but we can see that it's pretty good job to come to the end. And we really need your support. I feel it. I understand it, and I think that by the end of this day, we can do it. So please, we all are responsible for doing that, and I can feel it. UCU needs your support. And speaking about this support, we have often heard that you would like to hear from UCU students something, but it's not so easy for them to travel and to come and to speak with you. And one of the benefits of this virtual event is that travel is not an issue anymore. So today we will hear from 2 current students. And the first one we will hear is Anastasia Zvir. That is actually my student and third-year student for a small town in Western Ukraine studying political science. And she is active in the student government, the political club at UCU, and is also a mentor with the Young Leaders Program in Lviv. So, Anastasia, speak to us. The floor is yours.
Love can spread faster than coronavirus. Love towards knowledge, love towards God, and love towards each other. No matter how old I'll get, no matter how far away I'll end up living, no matter how cynic some circumstances could make me feel, I'm sure that I will remember Ukrainian Catholic University as a place filled with love, alongside trust, compassion, and honesty. My name is Anastasia Zvir, and I'm a third-year political science student. I never thought that I could be attached to some place or a particular community so strongly, but now I can see some reason why that happens. First of all, Ukrainian Catholic University successfully combines cooperation with competition. I always thought of the academic world as one where you have to fight hard for your place under the sun. However, competition here means something else. Everybody here is super smart in their own field, but has shared values with everybody else. That shared basis allows us to help each other, to educate ourselves, and to try to fit into the group that always challenges you. At first, I thought it would be quite hard, but good relationship with people and a habit to continuously improve ourselves proved that in this academic competition, there are no losers. Everybody wins in some way. Having learned that first lesson, I realized that to know people, you have to communicate with them informally. That's where my trip to the wonderland of student government begins. Of course, I had to try everything to find out what I was most passionate about, but that was the obvious choice. My friends started an initiative called Polit Club UCU, and our mission is to promote civic participation and political engagement of Ukrainian youth. To achieve it, we connect with our audience in 4 different ways: hot news podcasts, informal meetings with successful politicians, peer education, and consistent media presence. After I was elected at the head of Polit Club UCU, it took me hundreds of hours writing texts, researching topics, and creating designs. However, with the help of university administration, friends of UCU, and our donors, and of course, hard work of our members, we were the first student organization to receive an award, the Best Student Organization of Ukrainian Catholic University. UCU proved to us that it is a safe space to share our ideas and expect administration to support it. Love and respect towards students and their ambitions is what makes it a place where young leaders can flourish. One more reason to love UCU is that it has become my second home. Since last spring, I have been living in the new collegium, and that is the reason why I could dive deeper into our community. Having a new, convenient, and fully equipped space for learning might not seem to influence our academic success, but it certainly does. Without having to worry about day-to-day stuff, we can fully enjoy the process of gaining knowledge. But it isn't just a space about studying and living. Here, it is a platform to share our ideas, to make new friends, and to grow spiritually. I feel blessed since the day I decided to study here, and I hope that you feel the same way, being involved in this project of love that one day, I'm sure, will change Ukraine's future.
Oh, thank you so much, Anastasia. And don't forget that tomorrow we have a class. And our second student has a bit different story. Many of you know of Serhiy Prytula, for sure. For those who you don't know, Serhiy Prytula has had a wonderful career as a popular TV presenter and comic actor, writer, and producer in Ukraine. And a couple of years ago, wanting to help make changes for the better in the country he loves, Serhiy decided to enter the difficult world of Ukrainian politics. He did not win a seat in the parliament and placed only third in the Kyiv mayoral race, but it was a good starting experience. So he decided to do a clever thing, to go back to university again and gain masters in public administration to raise his game. And besides having a popular name, he had been a gold medal winner as a student, dean of students, and probably could have to any university in Ukraine he wanted to, but he chose UCU. And here to tell us about why and about his experience with UCU so far, let us welcome Serhiy Prytula.
Yes. Hello, everybody. Really happy to be here now with you, with people from whole world. When I joined this meeting, first that I saw that it's meeting people from Boston Catholic University or Chicago Catholic University. But if you talk about Ukrainian Catholic University, so let me speak Ukrainian, бо хоч хтось мусить з того всього середовища сказати пару слів українською. Доброго вечора усім присутнім, владико, друзі УКУ. По-перше, щиро дякую вам за запрошення до цього поважного зібрання. Так, дійсно, я близько 6 років мав честь модерувати заходи, які проводились під егідою УКУ у Львові, у Києві, у Лондоні, у Парижі. І то було неймовірне задоволення. То було задоволення бути долученим до чогось дійсно важливого. Задоволення від потрапляння до середовища, де люди усвідомлюють, що майбутнє кується просто зараз, і що інвестиції у освіту – це вкрай важливо для держави, яка має, на жаль, дуже слабкі державні інститути. Коли ми говоримо про сучасну Україну, то, як на мене, зараз в знаки даються, так одразу кидаються в очі, дві великі вади українського суспільства – це відсутність критичного мислення і кадровий голод в середовищі управлінців. І слава Богу, що діяльність УКУ зараз – то спроба побороти одразу обидві ці вади. Тому що неймовірні, активні, думаючі, класні студенти, перебуваю зараз у їх середовищі, захоплююся ними, вони вже є носіями критичного мислення і в хорошому сенсі слова вони інфікують ним суспільство навколо себе. В Верховній Раді 9-го скликання просто зараз у парламентській залі ми вже бачимо 6 депутатів, випускників УКУ. І повірте мені, як людині, яка досить близько дотична до тих процесів, що це далеко не найгірші, а, мабуть, найкращі депутати у українському парламенті. І я дуже вірю, що то тільки перші ластівки, і що в майбутньому ми будемо бачити випускників УКУ, людей з середовища УКУ і в парламенті, і на міністерських посадах. І це, мабуть, буде найкраще з того, що може трапитися з країною, тому що, знаючи цих людей, знаючи середовище УКУ, я точно розумію, що вони не проміняють свої принципи і свої візії на конверт з чорною готівкою, як це іноді полюбляють робити у нас люди, на жаль. Я також не можу не відмітити той факт, що УКУ старанно працює над тим, щоб про Україну знали більше крізь призму позитиву у цілому світі. І ті волонтери УКУ, які працювали в Гондурасі, в Зімбабве, це, власне, яскравий тому приклад. І це так само чудово. І приємно, що жертводавці зі всього світу чітко усвідомлюють важливість цього вище переліченого і своїми коштами сприяють зміцненню Українського католицького університету на Олімпі української вищої освіти. Коли я цьогоріч ставив собі за мету здобути ще одну освіту і здобути профільну освіту, власне, яка допоможе мені турувати свій шлях у політичній царині нашої держави, то, як правильно підмітив колега, у мене була можливість обрати будь-який вуз в Україні, але обираючи між вишами, де я міг отримати диплом, я все-таки обрав виш, у якому я отримаю знання, тому що це неймовірно правильне середовище, яке не дивиться на тебе крізь пальці, що в тебе там були якісь здобутки і так далі. Ти працюєш так само, як і будь-який інший студент. І я страшенно поважаю такий підхід і таке середовище. Повернутися за парту після майже 20-річної перерви, ну, для мене то був ще той челендж, чесно вам сказати, але я дійсно щасливий бути частинкою великої сім'ї УКУ станом на цей момент. І хочу запевнити, що на цьому моя еволюція в середовищі УКУ не закінчиться. Тому що спочатку я допомагав збирати гроші на стипендії студентам, на гонорари професурі. Тепер я сам студент, я слухаю професуру і я плачу за своє навчання. Попри те, що мені досі не дали рахунок, але я прошу вже другий місяць, дайте, я хочу все заплатити. Всі 110 тисяч гривень від щирого серця хочу віддати. І коли закінчиться моє навчання, я сподіваюся, успішно, в один чудовий день, я переконаний, наша родина Притулів докладе зусиль до того, щоб на якомусь щорічному балу нашому одна з стипендій для талановитих студентів Українського католицького університету містила слова «від родини Притулів». Тому я щиро вам дякую ще раз за можливість бути тут зараз з вами. Я дякую усім жертводавцям, котрі багато років підтримували і будуть підтримувати Український католицький університет. Я вам зичу всім міцного здоров'я і фінансової стабільності. Бо як будете ви багаті, то і Українському католицькому університету при вас так само буде не зле. Спасибі вам всім.
Дякуємо дуже, Сергію. В тебе є ще добрий шанс попасти і зробити доброю українською політикою, або ж вибрати і піти в науку і стати самим професором УКУ. Але дякуємо за стипендію. Отож, ladies and gentlemen, asked and answered. There you have it. Your support has enabled these bright students like Anastasia to learn in a very value-based environment for the transformation of Ukraine. But it also helped to create an institution where someone mature like Serhiy Prytula, who wants the right tools to really make the difference to Ukraine, choose UCU to get these tools. And the foundation that both Anastasia and Serhiy get at UCU is foundation they can't get anywhere else in higher education in Ukraine. It is a foundation that not only gives them the knowledge, but the values to change Ukraine for the better. And in you, do you know, by the way, which UCU department had the highest incoming SAT score of any university department in Ukraine?
I'm really not sure, Dmytro. Would you mind telling me?
Oh, yeah, for sure. And this is the Faculty of Applied Sciences, or sometimes known as the IT department, or in Ukrainian, айтишники. We call them айтишники. Incoming computer science students have average SAT scores of 198.3 out of 200 this year. Can you imagine that?
Wow, that's really incredible. What SAT scores? Wow.
Yeah, it is. It's really hard. And UCU's AT program has become incredibly strong in just a few years after its founding, and maybe the top IT program in the country. And it is one of the UCU's best kept secrets. And here to tell us a little about this secret is the Dean of the Applied Sciences. Another man named Pritula, our own dear professor Ярослав Притула. Як ви бачите, ми хотіли вас попритуляти притулами сьогодні. So, dear Ярослав Притула, the floor is yours.
Slava Isusu Christu. 5 years ago, in September 2016, a new faculty of Applied Sciences, was inaugurated at the Ukraine Catholic University. My name is Yaroslav Prytula. I'm a founding dean of the Faculty of Applied Sciences, or the EPS faculty, as we call it here. I invite you to spend several minutes with us learning more about EPS faculty. In 2015, we started from a single program, a bachelor program in computer science. But from the very beginning, we had a vision going far beyond the computer sciences. We thought the faculty that offers intellectually stimulating programs which expand the frontiers of education in computer science and information technology in Ukraine. We saw our graduates become not simply successful employees of a world-renowned IT companies. Rather, we saw them as multifaceted individuals who are prepared to create new products and services, new ideas and senses in the field of information technologies as well as in other areas of life. Therefore, in 2016 and 2017, we opened bachelor program in IT and Business Analytics and master program in Data Science. Here are 5 main achievements of UPS so far. Our bachelor programs in Computer Sciences and IT and Business Analytics are recognized by the industry as #1 IT programs in Ukraine. Both programs are extremely competitive. The average entrance score in 2021 on the independent entrance examination is 198 out of 200. More than 90% of our freshman cohort are from top 5% of school graduates. Second, the English Language Master Program in Data Science is recognized among the best master programs in data science and analytics in Europe. Third, our machine learning laboratory partners and make joint research with the top world IT companies, including SoftServe, Alex, Facebook, Infineon, Advasoft. More than 20 students and graduates work in the machine learning lab. Our researchers publish their papers on the world's top computer vision conferences. I don't know any other university lab in the field of machine learning in Ukraine with such a level of publications in the last 2 years. Fourth, our graduates retain and contribute to the faculty. 3 graduates work in the machine learning lab. More than 10 graduates teach in our programs. More than 10% of our bachelor students get their first job at the faculty, either via teaching or research assistantships. Fifth, UPS community grows every year. We have almost 400 full-time students, 12 full-time faculty members, more than 50 part-time faculty from the industry and foreign universities, and several hundred students on our certificate programs. In 2020, our online summer school in data science gathered together more than 3,000 students from 70 countries. Our alumni community grows every year. We have graduates working in Google, in Amazon, in Facebook, in Apple, in many Ukrainian companies. Many graduates continue their master or PhD studies abroad. We foresee our graduates to become new entrepreneurs that use the potential of IT to create new Ukrainian unicorns. We see them as new leaders, entrepreneurs that come to existing Ukrainian companies to change or improve them through the creation of new products, new departments, new jobs. We see them as new university leaders that change higher education and IT education in particular. The goal of the Ukrainian Catholic University is to make big impact as a small university. We try to contribute to this goal. Our educational programs became examples for other Ukrainian universities of how they can create new educational programs in IT. Our machine learning lab became a role model for other universities. Indeed, the Ministry for Digital Transformation of Ukraine recommended the model of our lab to be implemented in other universities. Many innovations in teaching, in learning, in administration that first were launched and tested at the faculty level became now adopted at UCU. Several IT companies approached us to help them build a research unit and a research culture in a company. 3 main boosters for UPS growth we are looking for. First, people. Thanks to the high student to full-time faculty ratio, which is close to 35, made us very efficient. Also, we are looking for professorships and chair endowments to attract more professors in order to be able to keep the famous personal UCU-style connection with our students. Second, space. Indeed, thanks to space limitations, we successfully launched a number of online programs. But we see that sometimes it is hard to accomplish the formation goals of UCU in online mode. We aim to transform UCU into a hybrid campus that combines online and live interaction and communication. We want next academic building to reflect all best practices of hybrid campus. And third, time. We grew more than tenfold from 2015 till today in the number of students on our diploma and long-term certificate programs. Just imagine, what can we achieve in the next 5 years with such a generous support for UCU that you give us? Thank you very much. And слава Ісусу Христу!
Slava Navike, and thank you, Professor Pratula. Accurate numbers as usually. And now in a place of the physical visit to UCU, we are going to show you a window into UCU. So let's go with me. Let's take a look. What is been happening here at UCU?
«20 років тому наріжний камінь студентського містечка, тоді ще малознаного в Україні університету, освятив папа Іван Павло II, нині вже визнаний святий католицької церкви. Від того часу тут постало 6 будинків. Останній з новобудов – другий колегіум УКУ.
А тим часом я хочу представити усіх благодійників нового колегіуму.
І я вам розкажу такий секрет, що і у нас так справи йдуть, і у Томаша, і, певно, у інших колег, які стоять так збоку. Той, хто вкладає в Український католицький університет, йому потім більше дається.
Освячення колегіуму відбулося влітку, а вже восени в нього вселилися 260 студентів бакалаврських та магістерських програм.
Дуже велике приміщення в нас, гарні ванни, чисте все нове. Я просто в захваті. Я просто в неймовірному захваті від того всього. Ура!
Формаційний простір для студентів проєктований за моделлю «Спільнота, що живе і навчається разом».
Перебуваєш з людьми не лише в навчальному середовищі, а ще й у побутовому, і це ще більше зближує, ще більше робить вас сім'єю справді.
Популярність університету зростає по цілій Україні. Цього року на одне місце претендує більше ніж 6 осіб. Зростає також середній конкурсний бал. Більше ніж половина першокурсників походять із 5% кращих випускників шкіл. 29% першокурсників приїхали до Львова з-поза Галичини.
До нас поступають дуже талановиті студенти. Ми потребуємо, і вони потребують гарних викладачів, мудрих викладачів, але теж і побожних викладачів, тобто тих, які мають бути носіями цінностей університету. Ми провели цього року 2 богословські школи в Уневі монастирі, і вони були дуже корисними для наших викладачів.
Ми відновили своє розуміння, свою глибину як християни. Ми по-новому відчули себе народом Божим в університеті. І я думаю, щось таке сталося, що можна описати нашою вчорашньою екскурсією у майстерню монаха брата Йова. З маленьких шматочків смальти, з маленьких сколків слюди складається ікона, складається образ Божий. І так як кожна людина є цим образом Божим, ми можемо відчувати себе теж пікселями в Божому задумі.
УКУ став першим університетом в Україні, який увійшов до світової спільноти Service Learning. Стратегія розвитку університету 2025 впроваджує цей формат у життя під назвою «Суспільно орієнтоване навчання».
Ціль курсу загалом – створити нові соціальні ініціативи. В першу чергу ми вчимося дбати про себе, а згодом, навчившись дбати про себе, ми краще розуміємо, як працює світ і конкретна цільова група.
В межах програми «Будуймо Україну разом» студенти утеплюють будинок престарілих у Новому Яричеві.
Проект Open Book – це проект, створений студентами першого та другого курсів Українського католицького університету, який має на меті розвивати читацький інтерес у дітей, молоді та дорослих.
Студенти організовують мистецькі зустрічі в оновлених бібліотеках Львова.
Показ якихось важливих знакових фільмів, обговорення важливих знакових текстів, які потребують певної підготовки. Так і наші студенти можуть цю підготовку надати.
Студенти спілкуються із працівниками геріатричного пансіонату на предмет професійного вигорання. Готують прем'єру вистави за участю друзів зі спільноти Емаус.
Перші 3 зустрічі то було дуже важко, бо ми їх ледь розуміли. Але з часом ми вже звикли до того, як вони розмовляють, як вони себе поводяться. Ми почали зближуватися.
Мотивують бабусь в'язати різні вироби на продаж.
Вони в'яжуть вже вироби різні, там шапки, шалики і так далі, які в подальшому ми будемо продавати, і таким чином ці гроші будуть далі повертатись до бабусь. Вони дійсно відчувають свою приналежність до чогось більшого.
Викладачі та студенти факультету прикладних наук розробили мобільну аплікацію «Джура» для військовослужбовців строкової служби.
З самого початку війни Російська Федерація вела як фізичну агресію, так і цифрову. Зокрема, на полі, так би мовити, на полі бою мобільних додатків.
Такої програми немає української, і наші військові користуються російською програмою. А це, тобто, велика потенційна небезпека.
Роботу над додатком команда факультету прикладних наук провадила на волонтерських засадах.
Бо я громадянин своєї країни, я патріот, і мені би хотілося хоч якимось чином допомогти українській армії, уникнути використання ресурсів і програм агресора.
Працю волонтерів відзначили нагородою у Міністерстві оборони України. У відповідь на пропозицію патріарха Святослава, великого канцлера УКУ, в університеті почав діяти Центр гідності дитини.
Профіль центру – це є превенція сексуального насильства над дітьми у церкві і в суспільстві з метою побудувати безпечне середовище для дитини.
Думати про структурний, системний спосіб, щоб допомагати церкві і суспільству з цією надзвичайно прикрою проблемою, з синдромом, який глибоко калічить людей, часто на ціле життя. Тому треба робити заходи, щоб запобігати насиллю над нашими дітьми.
Нові лідери партій, керівники департаментів і державних підприємств навчаються на магістерській програмі публічного управління та адміністрування.
Перехід та культурна трансформація, яку нам потрібно зробити всією публічною службою від нашого радянського минулого до якихось цивілізованих західних моделей управління. І мені здається, що УКУ для цього просто ідеальне місце, тому що неможливо розказувати, як відходити від радянських моделей управління в радянських закладах освіти. Воно так просто не працює.
Випускниця програми «Публічне управління та адміністрування» Наталія Гранкіна, керівниця фтизіопульмонологічного центру у Дніпрі.
Це вхід до нашого дитячого консультативно-діагностичного центру зі стаціонаром, яким ми дуже пишаємося і в якому робиться дуже велика робота по рятуванню маленьких життів. Ми відійшли від очікування державного фінансування і розуміємо, і це мені все дало УКУ, розуміння того, що ти повинен трансформуватися раніше, ніж трансформується система охорони здоров'я.
УКУ увійшов у список 30 найвизначніших проєктів незалежної України. Це визнання співпало з обранням отця доктора Богдана Праха на посаду ректора УКУ ще на наступних 5 років.
Для мене це важливе особисто, тому що, скажімо, працюємо і видно, що ви це бачите.
Студенти та випускники здобувають нові перемоги і визнання у міжнародних та всеукраїнських конкурсах. Команда факультету прикладних наук виборола друге місце на головному щорічному форумі фахівців з комп'ютерного зору. Інша команда факультету була серед найсильніших на міжнародній олімпіаді з математики. Із 30 найкращих молодих журналістів, які отримали нагороду Георгія Гонгадзе, 7 є випускниками школи журналістики УКУ. У Львові з'явилася площа Святої Софії Премудрості Божої. Цього року з цієї площі відправили у подальшу життєву дорогу 255 бакалаврів та 180 магістрів.
Ви молоді, круті, чудові, налаштовані, настроєні. Ідіть, будьте УКУ в світі.
Я, якщо чесно говорячи, я би не приїхала в Україну, якщо би не був УКУ.
Таких випускників, як тут, напевно, ніде немає. Таких цілеспрямованих, таких відкритих, таких наполегливих і таких, які знають їхнє місце в світі вже.
І от, наче оце поле, в якому ми перебували, всі ці люди, це поле не перестає з цим днем існувати. Це відчуття мене дуже і дуже обнадіює майбутнє.
Wow. What an inspiring video. It is just great to look at the wonderful achievements at UCU during the past year. And if you think about it, the miraculous achievements at UCU over the past 10 and 20 years, it's now considered one of the best, if not the best, universities in Ukraine. Look at the test scores we talked about. Look at those beautiful students. Look at the buildings they now have to grow and study in. This is the 18th annual banquet held in New York, and the leaps and bounds this university has made in this period of time are really just breathtaking. It couldn't have come at a more critical time for Ukraine, as UCU's rectorate, faculty, and students have become thought leaders countering the influence of Soviet and corrupt ways and values. And it couldn't have happened without your support. We want to continue that support as UCU seeks to promote education and values to a broader range of students, including more students from Central and Eastern Ukraine, and to expand programs. And for that, the new collegium that you saw being built to house more students needs to be finished, and more necessary infrastructure is planned. And programs and initiatives are being developed, but we need your support. Funding a scholarship for annual tuition for one student is $4,200 US. Funding a half-year tuition scholarship is $2,100. Funding a full-year scholarship that includes room and board is $5,500. And compare that against the $40,000 to $60,000 tuition here in the United States, of which I'm paying right now. That's a tremendous value, but it's critical to help for a bright, idealistic student in Ukraine who wants to change society for the better in Ukraine, but maybe can't afford a full tuition or any tuition at all. So every contribution is extremely appreciated, very valued, and every contribution really goes a very long way. So remember, you can either send a check to UCEF in Chicago, or UCU Foundation as we are now called, Or to make it easier and quick us and show us some immediate gratification, go to the chat section of your Zoom site and donate by clicking the link for the donation page, getting the telephone number to call our volunteers who are standing by waiting for your call, or clicking the link to fill out a pledge form online. We're accepting pledges through the end of the year. We also accept stocks and all different types of funding support. So quick question, Romane, are you there? Wondering how we're doing and how our thermometer is going. So I actually can't see our thermometer for some reason on my computer, but maybe, oh, I see we're moving towards our goal. We're at 68%. We want to thank everybody who has supported and continued to support our goal. And this is our opportunity now. This is your opportunity now to help us to reach the goal that we set for today's event. Now over to you, Romane, Dmitra, and Roman.
Yeah, thank you, Ina. Thank you, Roman, and thank you, all of you. Indeed, every support is so important for us. And now, for a change of pace, let's head to Ukraine to meet our next, very highly anticipated and musical guest. So I want to introduce you Maria Burmaka. Maria Burmaka is a singer who is a great friend of UCU. She has also been a great friend of Ukrainian causes and Ukrainian independence since the early 90s. And even before, singing as a festival when it was still very dangerous to think Ukrainian music in Ukraine. And she's especially known for her musical inspiration during the Orange Revolution and also the Revolution of Dignity. Through it all, she has always been a class act and singer and as a person. Although she has toured the United States before, this is the first ever time she will be performing, especially for our friends of UCU in the United States, for you. So ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Maria Burmaka.
Шановна українська громада, дорогі друзі Українського католицького університету, надзвичайно рада бути учасницею цієї визначної події, долучитися до вас онлайн з Києва, заспівати декілька пісень. Дякую вам, що допомагаєте УКУ, тому що студенти Українського католицького університету – це є наша слава і наша гордість. Вітаю вас всіх, співатиму для вас сонцем, небом, дощем. Яде тихо і дощ, серед вулиці площ, серед неба і зір, серед рік, серед гір. Яде втомлений шлях, де вертається птах із чужих берегів. На дорогі свої, сонцем, небом, дощем, снігом, вітром, благаю ще. Тільки мене не залишай. Сонцем, небом, дощем, снігом, вітром, благаю ще. Тільки мене не залишай. Я де труно п'янки, де слова від руки, ті далекі слова, обертом голова, від неписаних слів, від ночей тих і днів, що забути не можу. Я де тихо і дощ, сонцем, небом, дощем, снігом, вітром, благаю ще. Тільки мене не залишай. Сонцем, небом, дощем, снігом, вітром, благаю ще. Тільки мене не залишай. Я давно там, де ти, хай це довго того, що українська діаспора, громада у Північній Америці, в Сполучених Штатах, в Канаді допомагає Українському католицькому університету, українським студентам, ще хочу подякувати за ту допомогу, яка була і надходить дотепер до воїнів, які захищають схід України, до їх сімей, до дітей, які втратили своїх батьків. А зараз хочу згадати часи Майдану, та не одного, а Майданів, коли українці, українська діаспора допомагала. І в 2004 році українці на Майдані вистояли, в 2013-2014 році українці вистояли, зберегли державність, і великі зусилля до цього доклали саме ви. Дякую вам. А я хочу заспівати пісню, яку я співала практично на всіх майданах, на всіх сценах Майдану. Пісня ця називається «Скло». Світ поділено навпіл на дві половини, що придумано нами, ти знати повинна очі кольору неба, що кольору ночі. Я забути не можу, забути не хочу. Я можу розбити скло, я можу лишитись, бо я можу програти. Хай тільки не питай, чи можу віддати світ. Я можу сказати ні, я можу не знати правильних слів. Стала дивною трохи, не схожа на себе, відраховую кроки від мене до тебе, зашифровані файли, смс-ки, імейли, дорога між нами, від тебе до мене. Я можу розбити скло, я можу лишитись, бо я можу програти. Хай тільки не питай, чи можу віддати сни. Я можу сказати ні, я можу не знати правильних слів. Ми з тобою, як двоє таємних агентів, лише ти знаєш, хто я, а я знаю, де ти. Очі кольору неба, що кольору ночі. Я забути не можу, чи може не хочу. Я можу розбити скло, я можу лишитись, бо я можу програти. Хай тільки не питай, чи можу віддати сни. Я можу сказати ні, я можу не знати правильних слів. Я можу розбити скло, я можу лишитись, бо я можу програти. Хай тільки не питай, чи можу віддати сни. Я можу сказати ні, я можу не знати правильних слів. Одна із найвідоміших моїх пісень – це народна пісня, але з нею часто мене асоціюють, завжди співаю цю пісню на своїх концертах «Чорні черешні». Співаю зараз для вас. Чорні черешні при білій хаті, ходи, дівчино, черешні рвати, черешні рвати, черешні їсти. Скажи, дівчино, де маю сісти? Черешні рвати, черешні їсти. Скажи, дівчино, де маю сісти? Черешні рвати, черешні їсти. Скажи, дівчино, де маю сісти? скільки хотіли, а зорі білі чомусь привчили. Чорні черешні уже відходять, а гордий легінь більше не ходить. Чорні черешні уже відходять, а гордий легінь більше не ходить. Чорні черешні уже відходять, а гордий легінь більше не ходить. Чорні черешні при білій хаті, ходи, дівчино, черешні рвати, черешні рвати, черешні їсти. Скажи, дівчино, де маю сісти? Черешні рвати, черешні їсти. Скажи, дівчино, де маю сісти? Черешні рвати, черешні їсти. Скажи, дівчино, де маю сісти? Ну і завжди на концертах я люблю, щоб ми співали разом. І нехай нас зараз розділяє океан, розділяють сотні кілометрів, але хочу, аби співала я, а зі мною співали ми. Хай це і онлайн, але душею і серцем ми все одно в цей вечір разом співаємо. Цвіте терен. Цвіте терен, цвіте терен, а цвіто падає. Хто з любові не знається, той горя не знає. Хто з любов'ю не знається, той горя не знає. А я молода дівчина, та й горя зазнала. Вечеровки не доїла, нічки не доспала. Вечеровки не доїла, нічки не доспала. Ой, візьму я кріселечко, сяду край віконця, і ще очі не дрімали, а вже сходить сонце. І ще очі не дрімали, а вже сходить сонце. Ой, дрімайте, не дрімайте, не будете спати. Десь поїхав мій миленький, іншої шукати. Десь поїхав мій миленький, іншої шукати. Цвіте терен, а цвіто падає. Хто з любові не знається, той горя не знає. Хто з любові не знається, той горя не знає.
Oh, thank you so much, Maria Burmaka. I think every student in UCU dormitory heard how I'm singing Цвіте терен. And yeah, but let us continue. So, Roman, are you here? How are you doing in our thermometer? Please show us. Please show us. Okay, I think it's growing though. Thank you so much for your support. Really appreciate it. We really need that. So
I'm sorry to interrupt, Mitra, but we do have an announcement. We have received a very generous $25,000 pledge from Ms. Stefania Shapula, and I want to acknowledge and thank Pani Stefania for your generosity, and to everybody who's been generous today, leading up to this event, and as well today with your pledges. So again, thank you. Дуже дякую. Щиро дякую вам всім.
Thank you so much. This was very important interruption. I am glad to hear it. So now we heard from our students, but what about UCU alumni? UCU graduates have gone to study in places like Oxford, Harvard, and Stanford. And 2 years ago, 7 alumni were elected into the parliament of Ukraine that Serhiy Prytula mentioned, bringing with them values that were cultivated here in UCU and which give hope for positive changes in Ukraine. And it's not just at governmental level, but the professional and the grassroots levels where these values-based changes need to be happen. Here to talk briefly about what UCU has meant to them are 2 graduates of UCU. First, Antonina Skripnik, a graduate of UCU Lviv Business School with a master's in technology management, and now the head of financial services lab at SoftServe, probably Ukraine's most well-known IT company. Also, we will have Yuri Didula, one of a family of UCU graduates, who later studied and worked in the United States and founded an amazing NGO called BUR, or Building Ukraine Together, that is literally rebuilding war-torn Ukraine and building trust between Eastern and Western Ukraine at the grassroots level, with already many volunteers. Some of you may remember that Yuri was a Kyiv Post Top 30 Under 30 award winner in 2018, but Yuri declined this award because it was sponsored by oligarch Viktor Pinchuk, saying Mr. Pinchuk values contradicted with the values of BUR project team. So let's take a look of our alumni.
Hello everyone, I'm very happy that you have me here today, and I'm very happy that we have you here today, as I'm strongly sure that if you're here today, it means that you share the same values that we do in Ukrainian Catholic University and LVBS in particular. I'm Antonina Skripnik. I'm the graduate of one of the first groups in LVBS, the MSM program, Master of Science in Technology Management, and we are actually the whole family of huge supporters of LVBS and UCU. As my husband he is actually the graduate of the very first MSTM program, and we have, like, you may hear some noise in the background, there are like 2 juniors doing their online homeschooling at the moment. They are also the part already of UCU ecosystem, how I like to name it, as they were the participants of the UCU Kids program. So I'm a client partner and the head of financial services lab working at SoftServe. SoftServe is one of the biggest Ukrainian-based and Ukrainian-originated IT companies and tech providers. And why I'm here and why I would like to share with you my passion about what UCU does and LVBS does is that I have 3 master's degrees, and the third one is actually the MSTM program. And I would like to say that this decision was a life-changing one and a mindset, like, reshaping one for myself. And I'm very keen of all the things that UCU is doing for the whole country and for the landscape, I would say, of the business in Ukraine. And I already mentioned it before, and I would like to say it one more time. It feels like UCU is creating the whole ecosystem, the real ecosystem where we thrive, we as entrepreneurs, we as leaders, we as executives and the managers of big enterprise companies in Ukraine, we as startuppers, and all that creates that, like, environment, I would say, that is changing and setting up a new landscape of the new future for this country. And I'm very happy that you are here because it means that you are already a supporter, and we definitely need your support. And our family, being the graduates of this program, we are the part of the alumni association, and we also have established, we are also the supporters, we have established our own scholarship for the computer science program. And we will, I definitely am sure that the juniors will continue this path. And I'm very much keen on having them the same mindset and sharing the same values that we do have. Thank you.
Slava Isusu Christu. My name is Jurko Didula, and I want to start by saying thank you for being friends of UCU. I'm sure that some of your donations were the reason why me, myself, my father, and 4 of my siblings were able to receive good education at UCU. So on behalf of my family and the future Didula generation, I thank you. After graduating UCU in 2011, I did my master's degree in Philadelphia at LaSalle University, and already in 2014, I returned to Ukraine, and together with another UCU alumnus, Andriy Levitsky, we have founded a national volunteering platform called Building Ukraine Together. As an effort to rebuild homes that were destroyed by the Russians in the East, in just 7 years, we grew into a national volunteering youth movement that has rebuilt homes for nearly 300 families and have established youth centers in 35 towns and villages of Ukraine. And I would dare to say that this is the most numerous and efficient youth network in Ukraine, where people actually get together and fix the country with their own bare hands. And you know that in our work, we always follow UCU as an example. We believe that the youth centers we create in those towns and villages, they serve as the same role that UCU serves in Lviv. They create an alternative for young people. They create an environment where people trust each other and shape their common value space. And I do believe that UCU strengthens the people who then go on to life and with this desire and responsibility for the country. And they start educational projects, they start businesses for the sake of making Ukraine a better place. And I want to report to you as the investors of this Change Ukraine project that it does work. Ukraine is changing. And it's not just about infrastructure, it's about people. We are becoming more open-minded, more proactive, more responsible. And I believe that in a couple more years, we will become a wealthy, safe, and successful country. We just need more time. It took 2 generations for Jews to reach the promised land, and it feels like we're just halfway through. So we need more time and resources, and that's why having communities like UCU is so important. And I myself lead an institution that is 100% dependent on donors, and I understand that grants, they have some requirements. They are hard to manage, hard to get, hard to report. And that's why donations like yours are extremely important for UCU as a team, because they are based on true respect and love for what UCU does. They are basically conditions free. They are what we consider a real friendship. So I do encourage you to be generous in your investment into this project. I am sure that this is something we all are very proud of, because we are investing in people who will receive good quality education and reinforced in their values will go on to their communities, to the villages of Ukraine, and make this country a place that we want to live in and that we want to come back to. So let's be supportive and support UCU in this hard times. Thank you.
Once again, what an inspiring afternoon. Just one after another, so many things to learn and to be inspired by. And so our alumni as well, just incredible human beings who are really taking to heart what UCU has given them and sharing it with the world. So speaking of alumni, we have another treat for you now. We've often talked of your support of UCU as an investment in Ukraine, which is how its wonderful students multiply there, as we saw with Yuri just now. But this year, a group including several UCU graduates, consisting of 6 dynamic young priests, a deacon, and a seminarian who's finished his studies, their wives and children, a journalist, a videographer, and an experienced social worker, all together came to the Philadelphia Archeparchy and are living with Archbishop Boris and are truly reinvigorating the Archeparchy. Let's take a quick look.
Слава Ісусу Христу! Вітаю вас в цьому домі багатьох мрій. Слава Ісусу Христу! Вітаю вас в цьому домі багатьох мрій, в тому числі і моїх. Я мрію про це, щоб ми підтримали наших священників. Їх мало і завдань багато. Приїхали нові священники, майбутні священники, їхні дружини, їхні діти, життя, юність, радість, енергія, творчість.
Мене звати Остап, я є священник і вчився в УКУ 5,5 років.
Я є Руслан Боровий, я вчився в УКУ 5 років, зараз мені 32.
Мене звати Мар'яна Карапінка, я є випускницею Українського католицького університету 2003 року. Я закінчила богословський факультет. Вважається, що ми є одним з перших жінок-богословів в нашій церкві. Після навчання в УКУ я продовжувала навчання в Бельгії, зробила там магістерку з морального богослов'я. Після повернення працювала в УКУ в релігійно-інформаційній службі України як релігійний журналіст і також помічником владики Бориса з питань преси і комунікацій.
Мене звати отець Андрій Чернохвиський, мені 35 років, і я продовжую навчатися в Українському католицькому університеті, оскільки завершую свою докторську дисертацію з біблійного богослов'я.
Я називаюся Галина, я навчалася в УКУ 5 років на філософсько-богословському факультеті, також після там працювала.
Я отець Роман Олійник, мені 46 років, в УКУ я навчався 4 роки, в мене 5 дітей.
Лови! Ні, тепер на 9 кидай.
Завдяки УКУ я вільно володію англійською мовою, і тепер, будучи тут в Америці, я можу розповідати про Україну, а особливо про досвід нашої української церкви людям, які ніколи про це не чули, таким чином робити український світ ще ширшим.
Свою місію служіння в Сполучених Штатах Америки бачу в різний спосіб. Допомагати розвивати пасторальні програми Філадельфійської архієпархії, працювати з різними спільнотами, зокрема спільнотою матерів молитви, також розвивати соціальне служіння.
УКУ для мене дало можливість бачити ширше, бачити глибше і виходити поза звичні рамки. Моя місія тут полягає в тому, щоб побачити унікальність кожної, зокрема, людини, яка чекає мене як священника, побачити унікальність кожної дороги тої людини з Христом і в сукупності тих всіх людей, тоді кожна людина своєю унікальністю буде творити безмежну красу Божого люду, який йде разом з ним до неба, до спасіння.
Наша група є тут в США на запрошення владики митрополита Бориса Гудзяка. І особисто я свою місію, як священник, бачу в тому, щоб поділитися оцим досвідом несуперечності віри і розуму. Те, що наше духовне життя може бути розумне, але і так само, що розум, він може завдати багато шкоди без духовного життя, коли він є неведений оцією духовною правдою.
В Філадельфійській архієпархії я зараз є керівником комунікацій. Ми приїхали на запрошення владики Бориса разом з групою священників, мирян щоб трошки допомогти архієпархії докласти це до того, що вона вже і так робить добре, і привнести якусь свою, можливо, нову, можливо, якусь іншу перспективу.
Сюди до Філадельфії я приїхала разом зі своїм чоловіком, який в майбутньому буде священником цієї архієпархії. І своє служіння особисто я бачу в комунікаційній сфері, і я дуже горю цим бажанням, щоб розвивати комунікацію тут.
Навчаючись в Українському католицькому університеті, я здобув ґрунтовну богословську освіту, яка є дуже важливою для плідного священичого служіння вірним, з різним віком та рівнем освіти.
І тому, дивлячись і роздумуючи над всім тим, що нас тут чекає і чого ми тут є, я бажаю і пропоную закотити рукави, йти вперед і знати, що ми не самі, бо з нами тут завжди є Христос.
Єси на небесах, нехай святиться ім'я Твоє.
That was just wonderful, ladies and gentlemen. That is the fruit of your investment and your support. Not only is your investment supporting positive change in Ukraine, but is also starting to come back to support our communities here in the US, especially where the need is great. Nothing like an injection of youth and energy and a spirit of service, friendship, and creativity. Really so inspiring. And now it is time to introduce our keynote speakers this afternoon. And there are two. First is Natalia Popovich. Natalia studied in Ukraine and completed her master's degree in California. She's the co-founder of the Ukraine Crisis Media Center, a news organization established in 2014 after the Revolution of Dignity to provide objective information about Ukraine to the entire world. She later became an advisor to the chief of administration of the president under President Poroshenko. She's the founder and president of the communications consulting group One Philosophy, which advises Fortune 500 companies in emerging markets. Natalia now lives in beautiful Copenhagen with her family, but travels often to Ukraine and throughout the world. And Natalia recently finished her term as a member of the UCU Senate.
And Andy, or Andriy Hunder, has also been and still is a member of UCU Senate. Andriy was born in London and is the president of American Chamber of Commerce in Ukraine, which represents more than 600 business entities currently working throughout all Ukraine. He's the former executive director of the Ukrainian Institute in London and ran public relations for a number of firms in Ukraine, including GlaxoSmithKline. And prior to the establishment of UCU in Lviv, he studied at UCU in Rome. And with Ukraine celebrating 30 years of independence this year, there have been many evaluations of the last 30 years. And both Natalia and Andriy had a unique vantage point in observing both Ukraine and UCU, which was renewed some 27 years ago in 1994, over most of those years from their professional and also personal life. And more recently, as UCU senators, they saw UCU from up close. And as successful people in business and public relations who are also active in the civic life, they also have a unique perspective in observing all society in Ukraine. And they will share with you some of their observations about the significance of UCU for Ukrainian society and their own personal observations and experiences of UCU, maybe even how it has affected their own lives. So, ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Natalia Popovich and Andy Hunder.
Thank you, friends. It's a great privilege to be with you today. And I think overall, it's just a great privilege to be part of the UCU community for so many years. I think we will have it sort of as a conversation between myself and Andy, sharing our perspectives on the Ukrainian Catholic University. Andy, we've known each other for over 25 years, which makes it only 5 years less than the 30th anniversary that Ukraine has been celebrating today, renewing its independence. And I think one of the most precious symbols of that independence, at least in my mind, is Ukrainian Catholic University, because at all stages of Ukraine becoming stronger and better and transforming, be it Orange Revolution or the reform of education, the revolution of dignity, moral leadership of political Boris Gudyak and Miroslav Marinovich and all rectorate team for Ukraine throughout all of the difficult times, UCU has always been at the forefront of Ukraine's resilience. You personally have been part of UCU's history from very early on in your life. So I'm wondering, how does this profound knowledge of UCU helps you now in your role with the Senate, and what strikes you personally most while interacting with UCU's team?
Good afternoon, dear friends of UCU in the United States, dear Natalia. I would like to thank each and every one of you for all your support of this great institution, the Ukrainian Catholic University. My personal journey began with UCU in 1984. This was, I am the first generation that didn't see Patriarch Joseph Slipi alive. I arrived in Rome 2 days after the funeral, when Joseph Slipi was, he passed away at the age of 92 after 18 years in concentration camps in Siberia, persecuted for his faith, for belonging to the Ukrainian Catholic Church. And when he was liberated in the early 60s, he came to Rome, and that's where he founded the Ukrainian Catholic University, where I managed to be for 6 years. And his vision was, this was in the 80s, or even before that, you know, during the height of the Cold War, with the Iron Curtain. And we were always brought up in the belief that we are being trained to serve in Ukraine and for Ukraine. And not always everyone believed that this would be a reality. I mean, in the 80s, you know, when you're being told that you're going to go to work in a country which is behind the Iron Curtain. But I think the vision that Patriarch Slipi, Cardinal Slipi had, and even in his testament, his last will and testament, and he wrote, he said, bury me in the cathedral in the Saint Sophia in Rome. But when my vision becomes reality and the church becomes free, Ukraine becomes free, take my coffin to Lviv and bury alongside Metropolitan Andrei Sheptyrsky, which happened in 92 when his body was transferred to Lviv. So the foundation on which UCU is built on, the vision that Patriarch Slipi has, is phenomenal, and we see that today. I moved to Ukraine in 96, so 25 years I've been pretty much working and living here, and the last 7 years I've been with the American Chamber of Commerce, and it's seeing the large US and multinational corporations and good Ukrainian companies that believe in Ukraine and have invested here. And we have many very good stories of successful companies operating here. But I think for UCU, or for the business community, the Lviv Business School at UCU is considered one of the best business schools in Ukraine amongst the business community. And it's something Ukraine, you know, definitely does need. It needs the business leaders. But we are delighted that, you know, we do see many. And I think Natalia is an excellent example of a Ukrainian entrepreneur who set up her business, a very successful company, advising the top Fortune 500 corporations, and really helping the country, because I think the economic growth is something that Ukraine very much needs, and it is creating jobs, paying taxes, and boosting this economic growth. So I think UCU is, amongst the business community, it is recognized for the various faculties, but especially the business school. So I think the support that you provide to all the university, but this mosaic of different faculties which are there, and very different students with very different backgrounds. And this is the new generation for a new Ukraine. And we are very grateful to you for your support in making this a reality. And I think you can see real leaders, especially in the business community, young leaders coming up and changing this country, a new generation for a new Ukraine. So Natalia, over to you in terms of I think, in the way everything you do for UKU, having served on the Senate and all the support that you provide. Tell us your stories, the warmest ones that you have with UKU.
Well, I think, as you have mentioned, everything starts with a big vision, and I think it transpasses from Metropolitan Sheptytsky to Patriarch Slepy. And my meeting with UKU came through meeting the vision of Vladika Boris. I was introduced to UKU through a member of the Ukrainian community in the United States now, but Zvinka Krishtalovich used to be a very prominent lawyer in Ukraine, and she invited me to join the circle of UKU friends in Kiev. And I think in 2008, I believe, it was only very, very few people were still, maybe 9 or 10 on this committee. But Vladika Boris, at the time, Father Boris, came with these presentations showing us the magnificent new potential campus and the Church of Saint Sophia, which you just saw in the video. And he was talking about this university where students and the marginalized would live together and would witness humanity. And I thought, God help this ambitious dreamer, because in order to do this, you needed more funds than most of the universities in Ukraine never even seen. It was like close to $65 million. And it was still very difficult to explain, even in Kyiv, the value of UKU. But again, with God's help and very devoted team that Ukrainian Catholic University has, with all of your support, people of very different identities and walks of life have joined in this big mission of UKU. And I can only wish that you come to Lviv and actually see and feel this atmosphere, which is great on video, but even better in reality. I think they say that if you want to go fast, you go alone, but if you want to go far, you build a team. I think Vladika Boris has managed to build not only a fantastic devoted team, but also a partnership, because everyone who has contributed over the years to the greatness of this unique university is sort of as an equity partner in this venture, a very important venture. And now seeing alumni of the Ukrainian Catholic University as employees of One Philosophy, and their level of ethics and their level of humility and openness to new experiences, and their devotion to really make a difference for Ukraine is absolutely exemplary. And I know that UKU is this place that really helps to form the backbone of a new person, of an individual, and helps the students to grow not only professionally but really spiritually. And I think this is exactly what Ukraine needs. And I don't know if you come across UKU alumni very often, but what's your perspective on or expectation maybe on the UKU's alumni role for Ukraine?
Well, I think in very different sectors. I think probably the most it's within the church, what the alumni in the church are doing and leading the church forward. But in business, we're taking on interns from UKU, and I think you can see an UKU alumni very quickly. This spirit of really, you can see an alumni who studied at UKU, and I think it's very much what Ukraine needs. And I think we, unfortunately, we get a lot of negative coverage coming out of Ukraine about the bad stories of business, but we have so many good stories of businesses, successfully operating here. I could go on for hours giving, tangible examples. I was in Uzhhorod last month with Christina Krien, the charge, the US charge in here in Ukraine, and we visited three American companies all operating in Zakarpattia, one in Uzhhorod, Jabil, in Mukachevo Flex, in Berehovo Genterm. And Jabil, a big US company, what they do is in Uzhhorod, they make what George Clooney advertises all over the world is Nespresso coffee machines. And they are 8 trucks leaving every day. Flex also, in terms of circuit boards, others, Genterm, they make heated car seats. But I think what is really important is the leadership in business. And we are seeing what Yaroslav Pritula said, the IT sector is doing phenomenally well. We've seen $5 billion of exports in last year alone in the IT sector. And these are companies that are being now founded by UKU alumni. And I think this is really so important for the business community. And why? Because this is what Ukraine needs, an economic boost to really get this economy growing and based on trust. And I think in a post-genocidal, a post-totalitarian society, I think building the trust in business is extremely important. And I think on the basis of what UKU has done and does is building the trust within the community and inspiring others. So I do see this, especially as the business is something that I'm focused on in my professional capacity. And I think, UKU is already starting to impact that also. So, Natalia, back over to you.
Well, I was going to ask you about what do you think about, the secret sauce of Ukrainian Catholic University and what makes it, what helps it grow as it does. But I can start off with kind of sharing my 3 ingredients that I think make it, very, very unique university and very different, and maybe you can add. So I think as in any business that Harvard Business Review would write about, I think UKU possesses, first of all, the team understanding of its profound mission, and a very clear understanding, to witness, to serve, to communicate, and to serve the society, and to never forget the sacrifice of the martyrs and the marginalized among us. And I think Ukraine still has so much to learn from our history, not to ever take our independence for granted. And I think the fact that UKU, gives the floor and the voice, to people like Miroslav Marinovich in funding research about the martyrs of the Ukrainian church, helping Ukrainians, not just students, but overall Ukrainians to rediscover our identity is so important. It makes us stronger for the challenges of today and tomorrow. And also, I think as Ukraine is struggling to become, more successful economically, many people with disabilities are still being on the margins of the society. And UKU plays this very important role to remind us that we are as strong as our weakest link. And if we really want to build a human society, truly livable society, we should be feeling pains of each other, and we cannot hide from each other, behind the 8-meter fences. So I think mission is a critical element, and UKU is, so powerful about it. Then the second one is team that leads through the servant leadership model. And as Ukrainian leaders, unfortunately, in the past, and you've mentioned our totalitarian and other, significant pasts, we've seen leaders to abuse their powers and treat the country as an asset in increasing their and their friends' personal wealth. But UKU really serves as a reminder that when leadership is truly servant, it creates an entirely different ecosystem. It creates a system, it's kind of like a society in a society, and it's possible. And it's not an island, because UKU is very open and is working with so many elements of the society. And I think Ukrainian government could learn and benefit greatly if it could learn from how UKU thinks long-term and plans long-term and has a strategy. And I think overall, its modus operandi of UKU, it creates friends everywhere it goes by sharing the expertise, the knowledge, the openness to build new connections. And this is really exemplary. And then the strategy. As a member of Senate for over 6 years, and now maybe you can, Andy, talk a little bit more about this. I think, making sure the strategy is an inclusive process, like UCU does it, where the staff, the students, the alumni, the Senate members, friends of UCU from all over the world contribute to the strategy, makes everyone to be very, very committed to it. And, you know, this university has big plans and so much needs our support. And you can see how these dreams have come true. And I really hope that all of the other plans will come true as well. So these are kind of my three things, you know, mission and servant leader, team, and strategy. So what are some other ingredients from you, Andy?
I think UCU pretty much does what it says on the tin. I think this witness, communicate, and serve. And I think the service, and I think the students, their love, which some of the students already mentioned, and their love for the country with which they live in, and their love for Ukraine, and their optimism. I think it's the belief that, you know, together, this is a new generation for a new Ukraine, and this is building a new Ukraine, a better country based on the values and principles that have been imprinted in their hearts, in the students. And I'm optimistic. I think, you know, whenever, you know, you're feeling down, you just go into the atmosphere of UCU and the energy of the students and the energy of the whole team there. Especially the professors and the team, but the students, I think it's quite phenomenal. But I think also this community of benefactors, of donors that do believe in this and are so generous. So I'm very grateful to you for your generous donations to UCU. I think this is one of the best investments you can make in Ukraine today. So please do continue to give generously to this great university. And it doesn't receive any state funding as most other universities do. So I do think this is something, you know, you will be rewarded for many, many years, in the fact that this is a new Ukraine with a new generation of students. So I think Ukraine, I mean, answering the question, I think it's you know, building this new Ukraine, and I encourage you, do come to Ukraine, do come to Lviv, please do come to Kyiv. And I think, you know, together, this is changing something for the better.
I also think that you will see how UCU's mission for Ukrainian society is really evolving. And I've mentioned some of the ways in which the wider society and the government could learn from UCU, and at different stages of Ukraine's modern history. You know, UCU has been at the epicenter of changes, serving as an example for other universities, but especially for creating this space for people to believe that, you know, goodness is possible. It's not ideal and nothing except God's love is absolute, but UCU has this capacity really to grow this space of love and respect and humanity in Ukraine. And it's important, you know, recent research my company did in Ukraine demonstrates that almost half of Ukrainians lack Ludinist in their everyday lives. Like over 40% of people need to feel more respect in their workplaces. I recently did a job interview with a candidate who, when I asked her what are some of the things you don't tolerate, and she said, I just don't want to be in an environment where I can be screamed at, you know. So there are very, very different things beyond the ecosystem that UCU is building. But the stronger they become, the more of UCU there is in the world, of which Ambassador Larissa Galadza has asked UCU graduates to carry UCU into the world, the better it is. And I think UCU is also just, I don't know whether it's so seen from across the ocean, but I know that in Ukraine, UKU is just a huge sign of hope for all of the Ukrainians, because before the Revolution of Dignity, there were so many things that were making people fearful, and business environment has been terrible. So little ethics. Sort of the mode was pay to exist, and if you have oligarchic support, this is the way to go forward. But UKU, through the actions of graduates like Petro Didula, who can refuse an award from an oligarch, and who is already testifying this new way of living, which is, serve and help others to exist. And it creates a very different model of Ukraine. It grows the dignity of the students so that they won't be able to sell it in politics or for perks, and it grows their self-awareness and their Ukrainian identity, so that they will always have meaning in their life by, serving others, serving their country. And this is, I think, very, very precious influence of UKU in Ukraine. Just one final thing that I maybe wanted to mention. I'm so grateful that Ukrainian Catholic University is elevating the legacy of Metropolitan Sheptytsky. I think his particular example is so relevant for the challenges Ukraine is facing right now. He's managed to future-proof Ukraine 100 years ago, and the recipes of what he did, investing his life and wealth and health and energy into reforming the church and creating this army of agents, church agents in 20th century, so that they were helping Ukrainians to grow and become more complex and educated to meet the challenges of the future. This is all that we need right now. And it's brilliant that now we can talk about him through the books of Miroslav Vrenovich, through the big program that Sheptytsky Center is organizing, and really there is a wide community in UKU University to make it happen. So I'm a big advocate of this initiative, and sincerely hope that you will be able to join in and support it, because he's really a global Ukrainian, and I hope that UKU can fulfill their mission on this front as well. Dmytro, I don't know if this is the point where we're turning over to you, because we can go on and on and on. UKU is just Andy's and my favorite topic, so we can talk for ages. But I think
I appreciate that, for sure, and thank you for that. I was very inspired by your speech, and it came to my mind that there is also one additional point in your sauce. So actually, whenever you are with UKU or support UKU, you're with a big mission, you are very with a bright vision, but also with very optimistic hard work. So thank you for this recipe of sauce. And we are very grateful to welcome our keynote speakers today, Natalia Popovich and Andy Hunder. And thank you for your insights. And by the way, very thank you for your support of UKU and for everything you have done both to Ukraine. Yes. And now let's go back to Lviv and Maria Burmaka. But before we do that, I have two important announcements. Announcement number one, please refill your glasses. And second announcement, our auction will close in 10 minutes, immediately after Maria finishes her songs.
So once again, I'm repeating, but remember to go to the chat. If you want to bid on an auction item, we have several items. Once again, 2 beautiful icone and many, many beautiful necklaces, which we would love for you to bid on. There's a link in the chat room for the Google Drive document. You can view them here or through the Google Drive. And please hurry if you're thinking about making a bid, because we're probably down to 9 minutes now, so you really don't have that much time. So again, this is a fundraiser and supportive of the funds support UKU, and you have a beautiful item which you can own. So thank you for supporting.
And that's right, Inyu, thank you. And now, ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Marichka Burmaka.
Всім присутнім я бажаю любові, я бажаю, звичайно, всім здоров'я. Україні бажаю миру і всім українцям, які борються за цей мир. І Бажаю вам, щоб були здоровими ваші батьки і робили успіхи ваші діти. Ще одна пісня, вона сама про кохання. Це не тільки шоколад. Як заповільнене кіно, стихають тіні за вікном і запах кави з молоком. Світанок у моїй руці, в тумані, наче в молоці, лиш ти і я на світі цім. Якби не знати взагалі, що відбувається, коли в мені розтоплюється лід. Слова навмисно загублю, бо ще повірити боюсь, що може я тебе люблю. Це не тільки шоколад, смак ванілі на губах. Це коли уже не можеш повернутися назад. У кіноверсії життя на смак солодкі почуття. Це знаєш ти і знаю я. Та все придумаємо ми, які залишились дітьми у світі світла і пітьми. Це не тільки шоколад, смак ванілі на губах. Це коли уже не можеш повернутися назад. Це не тільки шоколад, смак ванілі на губах. Це коли уже не можеш повернутися назад. А зараз я хочу поділитися із вами, чим я живу, чим жила останній рік, тому що я працювала над проєктом, який називається «Улюблені класики» від Шевченка до Стуса. Пісні на вірші 15 українських поетів. І от зараз буде прем'єра. Я заспіваю вам пісню, яку написала не так давно, з якою вже була, до речі, на концертах у Нью-Йорку, Нью-Джерсі і у Філадельфії. Махнуть рукою, розділять вино на вірші нашої славної Олени Теліги. Це фактично прем'єра. В Україні не так багато хто чув цю пісню, а зараз я заспіваю її для вас. Махнуть рукою, розділять вино, хай крикне хтось, хай буде завірюха. Ах, як я хочу віднайти вікно у сірім мурі одностайних рухів, а в тім вікні нехай замерехтить чиєсь обличчя вперте і сміливе, щоб знов життя надовго чи на мить розколихалось хвилею припливу. Що поглячись, мов трунок дорогий, переблиснувся найсвітлішим плином, щоб очі інших, очі ворогів не домішали яду чи полину, і в душній залі буде знов рости така дитинна й божевільна мрія, що задля мене хтось зуміє йти крізь ці зневаги, так як я вмію. рукою розіллять вино, хай крикне хтось, хай буде завірюха. Ах, як я хочу віднайти вікно у сірім мурі одностайних рухів, а в тім вікні нехай замерехтить чиєсь обличчя вперте і сміливе, щоб знов життя надовго чи на мить розколихалось хвилею припливу. Не бійся жити. Важлива для мене пісня. Дуже багато разів мені дякували за неї. Когось вона вивела з депресії, комусь дала сили йти далі, комусь просто жити. Насправді ця пісня про те, що всім нам буває непросто, але треба не боятися йти вперед, не боятися казати правду і жити, радіти цьому життю. Я вам всім цього і бажаю. І якщо комусь потрібна підтримка, нехай цією підтримкою станете ви. І нехай в складний момент буде хтось поряд, кому можна покласти голову на плече. Не бійся жити. І коли залишилася зовсім сама, і коли вже здається світла нема, коли небо твоє на колір чужим стає, ти б виводила лінії знов на руці, пізнавала б надії в кожній лиці, малювала б на склі вогонь і розбила б скло. Не бійся жити, світ для того, щоб любити, сонце, дощ і вітер, небо, зорі, квіти, все для тебе, а ти не бійся жити, сонце, дощ і вітер, небо, зорі, квіти, світ для того, щоб любити тебе. Ти йшла по межі, ти йшов по межі, тільки знай, ніхто тобі не чужий, і рука у руці назавжди твоє тепло. І не можеш тепер лишитися там, де читаєш мої слова по губам, повертає тебе назад моя любов. Не бійся жити, світ для того, щоб любити, сонце, дощ і вітер, небо, зорі, квіти, все для тебе, а ти не бійся жити, сонце, дощ і вітер, небо, зорі, квіти, світ для того, щоб любити тебе. Ти у серці своїм тамований стук, ти на дотик, як спалах, навіть на звук, ти вже майже летиш, відкрите вікно давно. Розбивається ніч, ламається час, ти гасила вогонь, не згасне свіча, і не бійся, любов тебе береже тебе. Не бійся жити, світ для того, щоб любити, сонце, дощ і вітер, небо, зорі, квіти, все для тебе, а ти не бійся жити, сонце, дощ і вітер, небо, зорі, квіти, світ для того, щоб любити тебе. Не бійся жити, світ для того, щоб любити, сонце, дощ і вітер, небо, зорі, квіти, це для тебе, а ти не бійся жити, сонце, дощ і вітер, небо, зорі, квіти, світ для того, щоб любити тебе.
Okay, many thanks you, Maria. That was, as usual, wonderful. And ladies and gentlemen, I just hope that you were singing together with us. But now I should announce that the auction is officially closed. So, Roman, you were paying attention to our thermometer. So what we have right now? Okay, great result.
Oh, bravo.
Yeah, we are closer and closer to
Very
our
close.
Yeah, almost. So please check our chat room for the links on how to donate. And we really, really need your support. So any support is very highly appreciated by us. And now I would like to introduce you someone who really needs no introduction, someone who I come to admire, especially in the times I have been with UCU, the president of UCU, and now Metropolitan of Philadelphia, Archbishop Boris Gudziak. Дорогий владико Борисе, прошу, the floor is yours.
Слава Ісусу Христу! Чи ви мене чуєте? Мої дорогі, ви бачите, який ми маємо watch party тут у Філадельфії. Ціле наше товариство. Я хочу подякувати всім, які з нами є, всім вам, всім нашим донорам, всій команді UCEF. І бачите, я оточений деякими тими особами, які приїхали з України від УКУ, щоб допомогти мені, нам тут в Америці. УКУ допомагає Америці. Це є дуже важливо пам'ятати. Тут поруч діакон Володимир, який 12 лютого в нашій церкві УКУ мав би бути свячений на священника. Поруч є отець Руслан з Левком Руслановичем, Юля, наша нова Chief of Staff, Софійка Захарчук, Мар'яна, яка виступала, Анатолій, який був зі мною минулого року на Watch Party, і Марічка Іванів, яка пише докторат. Знаєте, я був в УКУ 2 рази цього літа. І в цей час пандемії, в цей час такого розгублення, коли в світі є багато страху, гніву, поділів, я пережив спільноту, побачив спільноту, був обгорнутий, обнятий спільнотою, яка йде вперед. З усмішкою, з світлими очима, з випрямленою спиною. І дає надію. Наталя Попович це гарно сказала. Тут виступали наші 2 сенаторів, Андрій і Наталя, так тепло, так правдиво. Сергій Притула, який, звичайно, знаєте, нас веселить, говорив дуже серйозно, наскільки цей університет допомагає йому, його майбутніх політичних візіях і перспективах. Ми бачили ці феноменальні успіхи, цю планку, яку наш IT-відділ ставить, наш деканат прикладних наук ставить для цілої вищої освіти. Ви пам'ятаєте фразу з минулого року? УКУ – це є як буксир. It's a tugboat. УКУ is a tugboat for all of Ukrainian higher education. And that tugboat is bringing in fruit into this country. This is now my team. These are my brothers and sisters with whom we pray in the morning and evening, with whom we share meals, with whom we have informal seminars about the questions of the world, and with whom we are opening up the doors of our church, of our community, of our history, of our future, to meet all people of goodwill. You have done phenomenal things. You have made the best investments that you could make. Investing in these people. They are real. They are in many countries, in many continents. They are, of course, beginning to change Ukraine. And I want to encourage you, because many people, and even I in a modest way, during this very difficult, dramatic, sometimes tragic time, when there's still a war in Ukraine, when there is a pandemic globally, many of us have kind of profited. Anybody that is investing right now has done very well. Now, I don't know if you heard this, there's a trend. Generally, in the second year of presidencies, of new presidents, the stock market goes down. Sometimes it tanks. So now is the time to donate from your investments. Now is the time to cash in, get that big deduction on your capital gains, and support these people. These are real people. I mean, Lelko, you know, he fell asleep as I'm talking. Usually it's not like that. But Lelko is usually the life of our parties. These people care. They care about the future of the world, of humanity. They create relationships. They sacrifice their lives. They serve. And these are the people that you are helping form. I love these people. And I feel their love. And I hope you can feel their love and their commitment to serve. They're right here in America, right here next to you, you and me. I think some of you have met them already. In Hunter, in Philadelphia, maybe in Washington, D.C., in our coal country parishes where actually 2 of our priests are substituting this very day. We here, our community, our church, our young people, our older people, our shut-ins are being visited, are being helped, supported, inspired, encouraged in this challenging time by UCU graduates, by people that you have helped form. So now is the time. This is the best time of the year. This is a great year after the phenomenal rise of the stock market. Don't let that crash or fall or decline that many predict catch you. Make that investment that you've been making. And I thank you. I thank all of you. I hope that we can meet in person next year. I hope we meet in person somewhere before next year. But God bless you, and God bless everybody at UCU. I thank Father Bohdan Prach, who's doing a fantastic job. UCU has had a fantastic record of safety on campus, of joy on campus, of peace. People are relaxed, despite the lockdowns, despite all of the difficulties. And it could not have happened without you. So many years, the New York Banquet, the broader community that is embraced by the network of the New York Banquet, you've been supporting this process, this growth, these beautiful people. Let's continue. And I thank you for that very much. God bless you all. Нехай вас Господь благословить. Слава Ісусу Христу. За ваше здоров'я.
Слава навіки, дорогий Владико Митрополите. Thank you, Vladiko, for your inspiring words as usual, and we drink from Lviv with you. And I want you to know that we miss you very much in Ukraine. And we are very happy when you visit us. But the US is so fortunate to have you back now, and UCU is fortunate that you still remain our president. So I think this is a win-win game.
I would say it's a win-win indeed. And now we are very pleased to introduce the Chief Development Officer at UCEF/UCU Foundation, Alex Kuzma, for a few words. Alex?
Thank you very much, Inu. Thank you, Dmitro. First of all, I want to thank our wonderful MCs, Dmitro Sherengovsky and Inya Shehadeh. This is their first time being our MCs. I think they've both done a phenomenal job. And I want to thank all of the people on our Friends of UCU committee on the East Coast, especially Roman Vasquez, who handled all of the technical issues and did a magnificent job of preparing this virtual event. Also Irena Yarosevich, Andriy Lensik, all of our wonderful people, Anya Shpuk, all of you who have really done a phenomenal job, as you do every year, building this fantastic event. And I want to thank all of our donors and supporters that have stepped up in a big way to make this, again, a very, very successful event. In particular, I want to thank Leonard and Helena Mazer, who are again our lead donor with a $108,000 gift, which came in just a couple of days ago. We're deeply, deeply grateful to you both for your fantastic support of UKU over the years, and all of you who have made donations, larger and smaller. Every one of these gifts, as you know, goes a very long way at UKU. I especially love the image that Vladika Boris offered us today, that UKU in many ways is the house of many dreams. Some of these dreams have been fulfilled beyond anybody's wildest expectations, even pathological optimists like me, and also those many dreams that have not yet been fulfilled. And that's where all of you come in as donors, big and small. All of you have been very, very generous to us over the years, and we're especially grateful to all of those who've made significant contributions. The night is not over. And so I just want to follow up on what Vladika Boris just said, that really this is an optimal time to really enhance the kind of gifting that you've already done. Those of you who've already made gifts, maybe you're feeling that impulse to make a larger gift, to boost your gift from $1,000 to maybe $4,200, as our dear friends Dana and Hen have made for a full scholarship to handle the full tuition costs. That is a phenomenal investment. For $4,200, you are investing in 50 years of service from some of these spectacular alumni and students that you've had the privilege of meeting today. I'm constantly humbled by people like Anastasia and Yuri Didula, the kind of work that Yurko is doing on the front lines in Donetsk Oblast and throughout the eastern region is simply breathtaking on what they've done to take this vision and to create the equivalent of Habitat for Humanity in Eastern Ukraine and in many other communities around the country is simply phenomenal. So just again, want to applaud all of you. Thank you, Natalia Popovich. Thank you, Andriy Hunder, for your wonderful inspirational words, for giving us that deep insight from the inside of UKU Senate and from the American Chamber of Commerce. I just want to also acknowledge we had a phenomenal gift that just came in this week from the Kozak family from the Boston area and from Pani Katrusia Volovodyuk, who made a phenomenal gift of $520,000 for an endowed scholarship fund that we did not expect at the beginning of this year, believe me. But this kind of generosity, it is, as our Spanish friends would say, sí se puede. Yes, it's possible. People can make these kinds of spectacular gifts. Some of you may be so moved to do it today. And if you can't do it today, please consider that as a major opportunity going through the end of this year. But this is the time, 'tis the season to make these kinds of gifts. And I also just in closing wanted to suggest we need to expand our network around the country. I just finished a phenomenal book tour with Miroslav Mladenovich, where we visited some new communities like Charlotte, North Carolina, Tiburon, California. There are amazing people out there that are eager to help a good cause like UKU. We need you to introduce us to some of these spectacular people that can make this kind of a difference. So I want to encourage you to introduce us to your friends, people that you think could be impassioned to give to UKU. But today we ask you for that one last push to help get us over the top before the end of the year. And again, thank you all from the bottom of my heart. May God bless all of you for your generosity, for your inspiration, for your friendship and support, and for your prayers. And with your support, I am confident that UKU will fulfill even more impossible dreams going into the future. Thank you.
Thank you, Olis. Beautiful words from a beautiful person. And I just wanted to, again, thank everybody who participated in our auction today. And I want to quickly announce our several winners, which we have. The necklace with the green jasper gemstone Dukac pendant with the image of the Empress Maria Theresa of Austria-Hungary goes to the wonderful Ivan Bereznitsky, who was very generous with a $700 donation bid for that necklace. And the necklace with Venetian beads and old silver Coptic crosses and silver beads from the Caucasus region Lida Bonyak is the wonderful lucky winner with a $1,150 donation in support of that in support of UCU. And so we're very, very grateful, and congratulations to our winners, and we'll contact you to collect your information and arrange delivery. So there you go. I like the use of technology, Dmytro.
Sure.
Emojis. Thumbs up.
Okay, and now I think it's right the time to see how our thermometer is doing. So Romana, can you please show us?
Yes, our infamous thermometer coming back online.
Need to see it. So, and it seems like our thermometer showed that we have raised already like 206,000 of US dollars. So thank you so much. And Nino, what do you think?
I think it's a phenomenal result. I know that there are those who will continue to support us through the end of the year. And we are just, again, so grateful for all of your support and your donations. Our students, thank you. Our staff, thank you. Our professors, thank you. All of us here in the Northeast, thank you. It's just wonderful also to see folks from all across the United States, and I did see somebody from Europe who also joined us. So we want to thank you all for being with us today, supporting this incredible university, supporting the work, seeing the value, I think, as you saw today, of where these dollars are going, and seeing the people who are behind this support. And so we just couldn't be more grateful. And it's been so much fun, Dmytro. I had the honor of meeting you, and I was very fortunate to travel to Lviv in June for the commencement ceremonies, and saw you up on stage, and just to be a part of this today with our wonderful keynote speakers, and all the speakers today has just been really delightful. So it's been a great honor for me personally to be a part of this. So I want to thank you all.
Thank you so much. And I want to personally just say thank you so much. We appreciate every donation, no matter what the size. It's so important for us. And now for a few words and for the closing prayer, we are happy to have with us our host bishop of this New York-based event, Bishop Paul Chomnitsky. Bishop Paul has been a good friend of UCU over the years, with 18 annual events based in the eparchy, and our choir in particular has great memories of your hosting them at the Stanford Seminary 2 years ago. Отже, Преосвященніший владико Павле, благословіть нас.
Thank you very much for this introduction. Щиро дякую. I certainly remember those days in the spring of 2019, during the days of the installation of Vladika Boris as the Metropolitan Archbishop of Philadelphia, when the Ukrainian Catholic University Choir visited us here in Stanford for a few days, and certainly brightened up our seminary halls and chapel. And I thank you for the opportunity for being with you this afternoon for this fundraiser. Let us pray. All-holy, loving, and compassionate God, you have blessed us with an intellect that seeks knowledge and appreciates beauty in abundance. You have given us hearts that seek you, the one true God. We thank you for these gifts, and today we pray for the work of the Ukrainian Catholic University. We bring before you the administrators, professors, teachers, the support and maintenance staff, and all our generous friends and benefactors. We pray for your blessings over their lives, their work, their livelihood, and their families. Guide them with your wisdom. May all of us be empowered and inspired by your Spirit. May the Ukrainian Catholic University continue to be a place of learning, a place of intellectual curiosity, of seeking the good, the just, and truth. A place where students, young and old, rich and poor, are equipped for the lives you are calling them to as witnesses of Christ and gospel values in the world.
Beautiful setting.
In times of difficulty, illness, and uncertainty, may we take comfort in your presence, O Lord, as we entrust this institution and everyone connected with it into your sovereign hands. May time not march on relentlessly, leaving us hurrying and pressured, but rather may the days sing with productivity and meaning. Do not let our eyes be obscured from you by the pressures of events around us, but rather may we delve deeper into all aspects of your creation and be inspired to use knowledge that we gain here for the good of all. Keep us safe from all illness and calamity, and protect us from all harm. This we ask of you, O Lord, through the intercession of Mary, the most holy Mother of God, and all the saints and blessed of the Ukrainian lands. Amen. May God bless you all. Slava Isusu Christu.
You have to take a moment. It was so beautiful and so breathtaking. Literally, I have tears in my eyes. It's just very breathtaking. Well, hopefully we'll be back to in-person events next year, but what a way to go out. And we got a chance to meet you, Dmytro, and a lot of people at UCU who otherwise might not have been able to make the trip to the United States so easily.
And it was a pleasure for me to meet all of you as well. And thank everybody for your support to UCU. We need it, we feel it, and hopefully we are showing you good things. We are accomplishing for the good of Ukrainian society, for the church, and the rest of the world.
Once again, it's our honor and privilege to support such wonderful students, professors, and staff. It is, as many people now understand, a great investment in Ukraine.
So thank you to each and every of you personally. Don't forget to support us. Don't forget to make your donations if you haven't done it yet. And see you all in the United States. Come to Ukraine and see you next year. Thank you.
Indeed, indeed. Bye, everybody.